Hello everybody, it's Jackson Fulcher here, and welcome to another episode of Box Office Talk Super Bowl edition, because this is the day of the Super Bowl. Does the Super Bowl have anything to do with the box office? Not entirely, but I just wanted to announce it. Oh, this is the show where I break down what happened at the box office, see if my predictions for the top 5 are correct, and then make predictions for next week's top 5, so let's get right on into it. Last week I predicted that number 1 would be Kung Fu Panda 3, number 2 would be The Choice, number 3 would be Hail Caesar, number 4 would be Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies, and that number 5 would be The Revenant. And I only had one of my predictions correct, and guess what? It was the obvious one. Number 1 was Kung Fu Panda 3. Of course, I don't think anyone doubted that it would be able to beat the newcomers. It made $21 million this weekend, and that adds to a total of $69 million, which is very good for this movie. It is still $80 million away from its budget of $145. I think it's going to get really close, though, because it's Kung Fu Panda 3. Why wouldn't it get close? But anyways, number 2 was Hail Caesar. This movie actually did a little better than I thought it would, but it only made $11 million this weekend. But its budget is $22 million, so it's already made half of its budget. So I have no doubt in my mind that it probably will get its budget back next weekend. If not next weekend, the week after. Because Hail Caesar was actually a pretty good movie, even though some people say that it wasn't a good movie. I don't really understand why, because I thought it was entertaining, but whatever, it's fine. No big deal. Please go see Hail Caesar. Anyways, number 3 was The Revenant, making $7 million, adding to a total of $149 million. This movie is still doing very, very well, and I just finally realized when the Oscars are going to be, like in 3 weeks. So, will The Revenant be able to win Best Picture? I don't know. What does Best Picture have to do with the box office right now? Nothing. I'm running out of things to talk about with The Revenant because I've talked about it way too much. Anyways, number 4 was another movie I talk way too much about, Star Wars The Force Awakens. It made $6,890,000 this weekend, adding to a total of $905 million. And it just broke another record. This is the first movie to ever cross $900 million domestically. That is seriously impressive. I love Star Wars. I'm so glad that it's breaking so many records, and even though I wish it could go up to $1 billion, it's probably not going to be able to, but I'm just so glad that it made as much money. I'm so glad that it broke a bunch of records. Even though it hasn't broken the worldwide box office yet, it isn't the number 1 worldwide grossing movie, I'm still super glad that it got number 3, and it's crossed the $2 billion margin for the worldwide box office. That is super impressive. How is that not impressive? I love Star Wars, if you couldn't tell. Anyways, number 5 was The Choice, making $6,085,000, and this is on a budget of $10 million, so it'll probably get its budget back, like, in a couple days, maybe next week, because $6 million isn't that bad for a movie that's on a $10 million budget, of course, like, duh. $10 million is pretty low for a budget, so yay for this Nicholas Sparks romance movie that no one seems to like. So, moving on. Number 6 was Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies. This movie actually didn't do as well as I thought it would. It made $5,200,000, and this is unfortunately on a budget of $28 million, so let's just say this movie isn't doing that well. I mean, worldwide, it probably will get there. This movie is set in England, I believe, so it's probably going to do well overseas there and stuff. So I have no doubt in my mind that it will get its budget back, like worldwide, but domestically, nope. Which is unfortunate. I think it's getting mixed reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, so I don't really know what that means. I haven't seen it. I don't know if I will see it, but I don't know. Anyways, number 7 was The Finest Hours, making $4,715,000, adding to a total of $18 million. This movie still isn't doing that well since its budget is between 70 and 80. Like, that's pretty sad for this movie. I wish that it would do well. But hey, that Rotten Tomatoes score probably doesn't help it out too much, probably. I don't know. I haven't seen The Finest Hours. I could have, but I didn't. Sorry, I watched the Kill Bill movies instead. Finally. The Kill Bill is freaking awesome, by the way. But that has nothing to do with The Finest Hours. Quit bringing up irrelevant stuff, Jackson! Anyways, number 8 was Ride Along 2, making $4,520,000, getting to $77 million overall, and it is $3 million away from doubling its $40 million budget. Isn't that just super swell, guys? That this horrible movie has done so well. That is super great. I think that's amazing of it. Anyways, number 9 was The Boy, and actually not that bad movie. It made $4,098,000, adding to a total of $26 million. Super good for this film. I don't have anything else to talk about. Moving on, number 10, closing it out, Dirty Grandpa. It made $4 million, adding to a total of $29 million. And I finally found out what the budget was. It is around $11.5 million. So it has doubled its budget. It's gotten its budget back, which is good for that movie. I don't know if it's good to other people because I haven't seen Dirty Grandpa yet. I'm not sure if I will. Maybe I probably will. There are a lot of people saying bad things about it. I probably will put it on my worst of the year list if I need to. I guess we should move on to predictions, which is the fun part because I predict what happens next week and then a week later I say that I got them all wrong. And this weekend I'm going to predict that number 1 will be Deadpool because it's frickin' Deadpool. Like, who isn't excited for Deadpool, especially since right now it has 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. That is amazing. Anyways, I'm going to predict that number 2 is actually going to be Zoolander 2 because it's the sequel to Zoolander, a pretty popular comedy with Ben Stiller, so I'm pretty sure it'll get good numbers next week. I'm going to say that since Kung Fu Panda 3 probably isn't going to make around the same $20 million thing, I'm going to say that number 3 is How to Be Single. And then I'm going to say that number 4 is Kung Fu Panda 3. And then I'm going to say that number 5 is Hail Caesar. But if you got your predictions right for this week, you're going to get a shout out right now. Unless you didn't get it right, then whoops. And of course, as always, leave your predictions for next week in the comments below. And as always, guys, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe. I'm Jackson Fulcher. See you guys next time.